Yes, today the real ID is now almost in effect. The deadline is approaching, guys, and you have less than 48 hours to get your ID updated so that it can be officially known as the official ID. Now, today's video, we need to go ahead and talk about the 5 things that you need to know related to having this real ID because it could affect some people and some people not necessarily. Take a look at this right here. Well, the first thing that you need to know is that the purpose and the deadline of this real ID is approaching. The deadline is less than 48 hours on May the 7th, 2025. And the purpose of this real ID, or to be compliant with it, is so that you can have an up-to-date federally accepted form of identification similar to the U.S. passport. Now, this will be required to board domestic flights as well as enter into certain federal facilities such as military bases and federal courthouses. This could affect everyone. The Real ID Act ended up passing back in 2005, and now this is going to set higher security standards to combat fraud as well as terrorism. The second thing that you need to know is the identification requirements. Yes, in order to obtain a real ID, you must provide specific documents in person, such as at the DMV, so that you can show proof of your identity, such as a U.S. birth certificate or a passport, proof of social security, and 2 proofs of residency, such as utility bill. Requirements do vary by state, so definitely check out your local state's DMV's website to get more information. Now, the third thing that you need to know is that it is not mandatory for everyone. A real ID is optional if you have alternative federally accepted IDs, such as a passport or a military ID or even global entry card, which can be used instead of an ID for your travel that you may need to make. In addition to that, the fourth thing you need to know is that each state has its own process for issuing real IDs. Right now, the lines are extremely long at your local DMV site, so you definitely want to be aware of that before you show up, often requiring an in-person visit to get these real IDs. The cost for these, they may vary, typically the same as a standard license, a renewal, or a replacement, though some states are adding an additional fee, such as Pennsylvania is charging a one-time fee of $30. But anyways, check your local DMV, as well as you can probably make an appointment. The last thing that you need to know is that being in non-compliant with having a real ID. Yes, after May the 7th, this year, this week, non-real ID compliant licenses won't be accepted for domestic air travel or federal facility access. If you don't have a real ID or an alternative ID, you may be denied boarding or entry for your flight. So plan ahead, as the DMV appointments are very limited. As you can see right here on this screen, you can see that the lines are outside around the corner of every building. But again, it does depend on what state you live in and what county you are visiting your local DMV. But anyways, you definitely want to get this updated, specifically if you do not have a passport. Anyways, guys, definitely follow for more. Be sure to subscribe to the channel.